Sport fans, I'm Michael Sakala.
And I'm Brandon Wickern.
And how the hell are you? Well, Brandon, last week in our pre-playoff team picks, we pretty much did okay. We pretty much marked everything we wanted. The only hiccup I had was with Cincinnati, and I got to be honest with you, they're so up and down. I mean, they're up and down more than a $5 whore who gives back change. I mean, what's going on with this team?
Well, let's say one thing before we dive that way. A little shout out to
Dive that with a $5 whore. I call it more. It's more of a plunge.
A little shout out to Cam Newton and the accident he had there. Hope everything's all right with him. Apparently, he suffered transverse fracture in the back, something similar to what Romo had with that knee.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing on the news. You said he got cut off, huh?
What's that?
He got cut off.
Yeah. He
was
driving to go to the stadium and somebody pulled out in front of him.
You never know.
With the up and down Bengals, it's interesting you say that because this would be their week then to be up.
Yeah, you would think.
And they're traveling to Cleveland, which has now put Mr. Manziel in charge.
Must have touchdowns coming.
Sorry, people out there, I don't like calling him Johnny Football. I can't stand the name, and I really can't wait till he gets pressed out of the league myself. But that's just something on a personal note. I got Bengals this week on that one.
You're going with the Bengals this week. Okay.
Yes.
What do we got? The Bengals are a pick'em, and they are at Cleveland. Myself, I'm looking at the Rams in Arizona. It's in St. Louis, and the Rams are a -4.5. And the Rams are hot right now. I don't think anybody wants to play them right now. Their defense is just basically killing people. So I'm telling you right now, take the Rams and give the 4.5 points.
Teams are scoring no points off them.
No,
Zero.
they're not. They're not at all.
3 weeks or something.
So did you want to talk about the division? What's going on with that division?
The deal with the Newton, it kind of shook everything up because they really came out last week when they played their best team game of the year.
Yeah, they did.
Taking out New Orleans at home, that was really something. I just jotted this down, as far as like who stands the best chance. Of course, now Cam goes down, but Derek Anderson's a pretty good replacement. It's not It's not like they're just done because of it,
Yeah.
Each team, mix and match, has to play each other. They get to stay. Their last game is on the road, but they're at home for their next two. Carolina.
So Carolina's got Tampa, Cleveland, and they're at Atlanta.
And then New Orleans
has got Chicago, Atlanta.
At Chicago.
Yeah.
Home and then at. So they're only home once.
Wow.
And then Atlanta is
Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and Carolina. I would think out of them all, I think Carolina seems to have the easier one. I mean, they're home with Tampa, they're home with Cleveland, and they got to go to Hotlanta to end the year off. Because out of them, I would think Atlanta, they got Pittsburgh, they're at New Orleans, and then they finish up with Carolina. That, to me, is the hardest one. Because New Orleans, to me, I think is done. I think they're falling apart. I don't know what's going on with that team. They're done.
But in either case, it would take a loss by one of these two teams.
Yes.
So your division winner and a win out for Carolina could be 7-8-1.
You're absolutely right.
Otherwise, the other ones are going to be 8-8.
Well,
it's a tough game for Atlanta this week with Pittsburgh coming in. Can they? That's their biggest. They overhaul that game, then they're just.
It's funny you bring that up. I marked off a couple of this week's playoff games. Pittsburgh at Atlanta. Who you like? Pittsburgh at Atlanta. I'm taking Atlanta on this one.
I like that. I mean, we discussed it a little bit. I'm so afraid of that Pittsburgh running back. But like you said, they go up and down.
They're another one, up and down, up and down. Cincinnati and Cleveland. We're both on the agreement. We're going to go. This has got to be when Cincinnati comes up for air. I mean, it can't be down that long.
That's my pick this week.
They better come up for air. I'm not giving her a change, that's for sure. Then you got, to me is a gimme. At New England, -7.5 in Miami. I have to think New England's going to blow them out.
I know you said that. It's a real gimme for you. Not so much for me. I don't know that Miami can come back and get involved, but if they were to win this game, that would be a big start.
It'd be unbelievable. Then we got Denver going to San Diego.
This is another one where you.
I'm going an upset. I think the Chargers are going to shut. They're going to shut them down, and they are going to win this game. I think they are.
This is where Peyton Manning.
He better throw something. He better do something.
He wants that rematch in Denver, and he's still shooting for that, which is going to take a win out and a loss by New England somewhere along the way. I think that's enough to make Manning be Manning.
Yeah, and seeing to me, the only chance of New England losing, I thought, was last week because they got Miami this week, then they got the Jets and Bills, or it's either way. They got Miami, the Jets, and the Bills left, and that's about it. You ask me, that's a clean sweep. They're done. They're just going to finish off this entire year.
How about
Then we got.
What about Ryan maybe give him a little kick at the end of his career there in New York?
That's the way he would finish it off.
Would that be something?
Would they not finish it off that way?
Now you were going to say that something about the Seattle game?
And then you got at Seattle and they got San Francisco.
Man,
I think San Francisco's cooked. I think
that Hawks defense is tough, boy.
Yeah, I think
I've seen nothing Kaepernick play to touch that.
No, they're I don't know what they're completely as a team. They just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then we got.
Well, they're talking about selling the coach off at the end of the year.
Oh
right?
yeah, I heard he was either. I hear Michigan, I hear Miami, I hear Raiders. I'm hearing all the different teams now where he's going to go to. And then we get to.
This must be a game you like.
There's a Sunday night game coming up this Sunday. I'm calling it the rematch in Philadelphia. Because as we know, a couple weeks ago,
the withdrawal at Lincoln Financial. That's what I call it.
The Thanksgiving game, Philadelphia came into Dallas, and they basically had their way with Dallas. And honestly, like I was telling you, and it pains me to say it, I honestly do think that the Eagles are a better team overall. I think they have a better offense. Defense, they have a better defense, and then special teams, etc., and so on. I think the only chance that the Cowboys have to winning this game is this whole old school mentality that they're pros. That's all they preach is they play old school, hard school running. You know, they run the ball, pound the ball. You know, try to take off the clock, etc., and all that. Well, if they're going to live by this so-called old school mentality and things like that, well, guess what? What's going to have to happen is the hat's got to come off, and it's time. It's time to put that helmet on. Strap up that chin strap, make it tight, and it's time to play old school. And what I want to do is I want to break this game down. If the Cowboys are going to win this, they're going to have to win this in a couple different ways. If you don't mind, people, come on, follow me over here. First and foremost, this game's going to have to be won right off the bat in the trenches with the offense. The offensive line, they got to get the hands up. They got to control the pass rush, period. And then they got to put out a bone, and they got to open up the lane to let the running back go through and control that clock and just move the chains. From a defensive standpoint, they got to get down, they got to get off the ball, and then they got to put the bone up, and they got to hit somebody. Then when we get down to it, the playmaker, Des Bryant. He wants to make his money because this is his contract year. Yeah, well, you know what you got to do when you get up on that line? You got to get up on that line. You got 5 feet. You're allowed to get a little contact. You need to bone up, create some space, get that ball, keep on getting the possessions, and eventually break one and get a touchdown. From a defensive standpoint, again, with the defensive backs, you got 5 yards, you got to bone up. You got to break their rhythm, you got to take them off their routes, and you got to hit somebody. These guys are going to catch the ball, but you got to hit them and let them know all day we're going to be hitting you. Then we go to the game breaker himself, DeMarco Murray. You got to hit that hole hard. You got to hit it. Then you got to bone up, throw that stiff arm, and you got to make some space, and you got to keep on just eating up that clock and eating up the yards. From a defensive standpoint with those middle linebackers, you got to bone up and you got to hit McCoy. He don't like being hit. He's already weak with the ankles. You got to hit him and take him out. Don't let him get around that outside on those off-tackle runs. He killed us last game. Then, finally and foremost, you got to go with Romo. Romo, I'm just answering you right now, brother. Don't be a hero. Nobody's telling you to put the game on your shoulders. Exactly. You got superstars. Use them. Spread the wealth. Hand off the rock. Just whatever you can do, try to play mistake-free football. We're not asking you to win this ball game. We're just asking you to maintain it. And then finally and foremost, you got Sanchez. We just got to convert him back into butt fumble. We got to hit him. We got to bone up and just create havoc. Make him turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, and everything. And that, my friends, is how you break it down. Huh! 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 Break down! Huh! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Huh! Talk about breakdown.
You almost maybe want to put that little hard hat out there and help you.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Well, then we go into Monday night with the producer's favorite there. That'd be the Saints and the Bears. It's at Chicago. And I got to tell you something. If the Bears win that game...
I wouldn't be surprised. They haven't won a home game yet, right?
No, they have.
Yes.
This that we've talked about with the South, with the NFC South there, could come to fruition if the Bears have the Saints a loss.
To me, the Saints are fault. They might be one of the worst. They're probably the worst story all year. They're falling apart. I don't know what happened with them. I would take Chicago as well. Well, here we are, sports fans. Tell the people what they want.
They want, let's see. I know you want the boys over the Eagles. There's just no doubt in my mind about that one. And they also want the Packers over the Bills. We didn't even speak about that.
To me, that's a gimme. It's a gimme, the Packers. To me, the Packers.
Buffalo.
The Packers are the best team right now in the NFL. I think it goes Packers, Patriots, and the Seahawks, but those three teams are tight right now. They could beat each other.
I think they could beat each other. The other two with the better offense.
Now, I want to leave it at this. Mr. Victor Bernardino, if you're out there, the bet is on. Loser has to wear the hat. And I don't know, you already sent me a princess hat. Who knows what the hell he's going to send me next time. And if I win, I'm going to have to go out and search. I'm going to have to go maybe to Toys R Us and go find something in Fairy Tale Land or something like that. So go out there, enjoy your Sunday, and I can't wait for Sunday night football. Dallas and the Eagles. Yes.
All right.
Sweet.
Have a good Sunday.